Let go.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and happy Black History Month! Woo woo! Woo woo woo! Air horn! Woo woo! Today's nails don't really look like they're a set, but they are, and that's because each nail is inspired by a figure or two and their work in Black American history. Woo woo! Woo woo! Woo woo! Air horns! Okay, first things first, we all knew it was gonna happen. MLK and Malcolm X nail starting out. First of all, I love how they both have streets they both have street signs in New York, so I decided to draw the street signs. They're two of the biggest figures in Black history. It is a cardinal sin to mention Black history without mentioning these two. It's in the Bible. You don't have to look it up, just take my word for it. So I decided to draw both their street signs on a road, the same black road, because I feel like it's a little bit of American propaganda when people try and say like they're the two polarizing sides of the black movement, when in actuality, especially towards the end of their life, they really came together, came to respect one another. So I wanted to put them on the same road. Okay, so I'm starting out with a red base, a controversial decision, and then I at first was going to use a dotting tool to draw a black road, but then I was like, girl, I just took my black, I'm using all gel polish, by the way. I took my black gel polish and I just drew a fat, thick line of black through the middle, and that will be the basis for our road. So to turn this into an actual intersection, two roads conjoining into one, you get the metaphor, you get it? I just drew a small red triangle with the same color we used as the base on the bottom. And then to make the lines in the middle of the street, at first, another example of me trying to work harder, not smarter, when I should be smarter instead, I should have just drawn a yellow line in the middle of each road, and that's what I'm eventually going to do, but that's not what you see me doing. I don't know why I thought I could draw perfect little rectangles. I can't even drive. I don't see the road that often. But once I do draw it correctly, I go over the yellow line with gold just to make it pop a little bit. And then I go back in with my black polish to separate the line into little rectangles. That way it's easier and it's a bit neater. So now we're going to begin our street signs with a dark green that kind of looks as close as a street sign as you can. You're going to draw two diagonal rectangles at the top-ish and bottom-ish of your nail. Now, it doesn't matter how neat the top and bottom of these rectangles are, because now you're going to take a white and draw a line at the top and bottom of each rectangle, similarly to a street sign. Now with your tiniest nail art tool, you can see I'm using a toothpick because I don't even have small nail tools. You're going to write the letters on your sign. The top sign I chose to be Dr. Martin Luther King because I'm pretty sure he passed away after Malcolm X, and so he went further on the road. You get it? You get the metaphor? And then I started the words Dr. Martin. I only got DR, which is fine. And then on the bottom, I wrote the tiniest boulevard next at the end of Malcolm X Boulevard in New York. Try your best. Our index finger is going to be inspired by the Audre Lorde, and I wanted to portray this globe. I feel like Audre Lorde, when I think of her spreading her activisms, all forms of activism, Black power, LGBT plus rights, feminism, womenism, all throughout the world. I know she traveled a lot through parts of Africa, and I did a project on her work in Germany. She's just an international legend, so I wanted to portray that in this index nail. So the first thing I did to create our galaxy background was I used this really dark purple, almost gray color as the base and then I covered it with this glittery purple hollow top coat on top. Okay, for the actual drawing, you're going to take like a medium-sized dotting tool or toothpick or whatever you have, and a slightly duller muted type of blue, and draw a circle in the middle of the nail. This will be our globe. Then for the continents, listen, I'm American, so obviously geography is not my strong suit, but I was looking at a reference of the world map, as you should too, and with an even smaller dotting tool or toothpick and dark green polish, I tried to make the vague outlines of the continents on our little globe. Audre Lorde's main vessel of activism was obviously her writing. That's what bridged the gap between all these different cultures and places that she went to. And so the first thing I wanted to put around our globe is a written scroll. So for the scroll, you're going to use a beige parchment color and write diagonally, I believe. You want to make a very thick line around your globe. Do not worry if it's like shaky or anything. It's supposed to be a scroll. It's supposed to be very uneven like paper. And then with black and a toothpick or tiny dotting tool, you're gonna scribble some words across that beige to make it look like writing on the paper, and also use that black to outline parts of the parchment. We're going to outline everything. So to represent her work with womanism and or feminism, we are going to use the same blue that we used to color the globe to turn our globe into the universal sign for women. Whoop whoop. And we're going to do that by taking that blue and drawing a small lowercase t, or a cross if you're a Christian, under the globe. Make sure the top is connected to the globe so it'll look like the symbol for women. For those of you who needed to be told that Miss Lorde was one of the girls, yes ma'am, here is your telling, okay? Audre Lorde was in fact a lesbian, and a lot of her work happened to be internationally for the LGBT plus community as well. And so to represent that, our second ring, aka our diagonal line across the globe, we are going to make the rainbow flag. And we're going to do this by, for every milliliter-ish of the line, we're going to alternate colors. So our final ring will obviously be for Black Power. She was an African American woman fighting for African American rights. Obviously, we got to do a pro-black ring across the middle. This will be a very simple horizontal black line straight across the globe. But before we do all of that, since we're using the black anyway, I decided to just outline everything as much as I could so that it could just be a little cleaner, a little nicer. Now, I don't know if you realize this about me, but my name is Maya. Obviously, I'm going to dedicate the middle nail to Maya Angelou. To Maya Angelou, literally incredible author, incredible writer, incredible weaver of words. If you know me in person, you also know that my entire personality is based around her one quote: "Prepare yourself to be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud." Literally my favorite quote. It's my Twitter background. I made that my caption for my graduation photos. Like, is everything, that quote is everything for me, and that is everything that this nail is based off of as well. Now, hey, doesn't this look familiar? Yes, we're going to use the same blue we used on the last nail as our base for this nail. And then to create our nice little cloudy background that we're going to light up with a rainbow, you're going to take a broken makeup sponge. Well, you're going to take a makeup sponge and you're going to break off a little chunk, and you're going to put some white polish on it and just dab it around the nail to get this nice little fuzzy, cloudy effect. Next, with some white and a few tools, I'm going to make a thick swirl that dips in and out of the nail. You can make it in any abstract form you want. This is going to be a rainbow, but for now we're just going to make a swoop white shape, and you'll see me clean up in between these takes because I want this to be sharp. And now, pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, you're going to layer the colors and lines like it's a rainbow. I personally started from the middle just so I could gauge how much space I needed for each side. So I started with yellow and green, and then I worked my way out. You could work your way across just like normal if you think you have a good sense of proportion. I obviously didn't because I messed up immediately, but that's okay because you can always go over yellow. Yellow is the weakest color, but one of the prettiest colors. Now after your rainbow is complete and it is shining, shimmery, splendid, if you left any sort of divot or any sort of space in your nail, you're going to take a small tool and yellow, you're going to make a tiny star shape. I drew a 4-pointed star. You can draw whatever kind of star you want. I drew a 4-pointed star. And then you're going to color that yellow gold once the yellow is dry, because you are shining, shimmering, phenomenal women. That's a Maya Angelou quote from a Maya Angelou poem. So before I move on over to the ring finger, I'm actually gonna jump to the pinky finger, which is a nail inspired by the dynamic duo Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes. Woo woo, Harlem Renaissance peeps, woo woo. So this nail was primarily inspired by Zora Neale Hurston's Color Struck and Langston Hughes's The Negro Speaks of Rivers. Color Struck is a play written by Zora Neale Hurston about the effects of colorism. And Hurston shows how colorism is a generational detriment to the Black community, but since it's a weapon built on white supremacy, it will never actually benefit Black people. People who are colorists and people who are the victim of colorism will both reap negative effects of colorism. And even though a lot of people in the Black community ignore this, colorism is still a violent force, and I chose to portray this by cutting a large jagged chunk of the top right of this nail. The nail got struck with colorism, color struckism. So for some reason I painted this nail green. It's not supposed to be green. Paint it red, actually. Instead of painting it green, paint this nail red. From the hole in the nail, we're gonna draw some black drips, like oozing out of it. And you do this by at first putting a dot where you want the drip to end, and then with a dotting tool or whatever you have, you're going to make a line from the dot back up to the hole, and then thicken it up and connect it to the outline of the rest of the hole. So this is where we start to tie together Hurston's work with Hughes's work, because this blackness that's dripping out of the nail is not the problem. The hole is the problem. The blackness is not bad. Blackness is filled with magic and majesty and wonder and such a rich, beautiful history, as seen both in Hurston's work and in Langston Hughes's The Negro Speaks of Rivers. So I wanted these black drips to flow into a golden crown to portray both of these meanings. To make your crown, it's going to be super freaking simple. What you're going to want to do is take a yellow polish and make 3 triangles in a horizontal line all the way at the bottom of the nail, and make sure they're touching so that it looks like a crown. They got to be connected. And then go over that yellow once it's dry with a gold polish, and bada bing bada boom, you have shining, shimmering, splendid, a crown, a beautiful black blood dripping into a crown. Royalty meets royalty. You could even think of the blood flowing like a river, ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood and human veins, as some Negro once spoke of. Now, going back over to the ring finger, our final nail, let's just say this nail is dedicated to me and every other black person out there, because I've been doing nail art for a really long time, and I and everyone else would have to be stupid to not see nail art and long nails as a form of African American culture. People like to say this is a form of modern art, but in reality, Black women and people in America have been ridiculed for a lot of things that later became popular and credited to trends in Gen Z. Yellow gold jewelry, AAVE, big curly hair, big earrings, big body frames, and long curled or spiked bright colors, heavily decorated nails have always been considered ugly on black bodies who pioneered them, and then trendy when it's on lighter skinned people. I celebrate Black History Month every single day by doing nail art. And I don't care who you think the most popular and greatest nail artist is. This is my culture, and I'm always gonna claim it, because nail art is black joy. But anyway, this nail is super duper simple. It's literally the Pan-African flag colors, but swirled together. This is super easy, but you probably will need gel nail polish or a thick coating of regular nail polish or acrylic paint. Basically what you want to do is you want to layer all of the colors down, thick gloops of color down diagonally across the nail, red, black, green, and then take a toothpick or a dotting tool and just swirl the perimeters, the borders between each color so that they swirl into each other and create this cool marbled effect. Then if you have some sort of paint like acrylic paint or tempera paint, this will probably work a bit better. You can take a tiny fluffy brush and dry brush the corners of the nail. Once it's completely dry brush the corners of the nail with gold. So, y'all already know what I'm finna say. What do you think? Did I nail it or did I fail it? I hope you think I nailed it, because this is a pretty important piece, guys. You think I failed Black History Month? I can only wait until next year to try again. Anyway, I did enjoy this set. I loved all of the people that I spoke about, of course. You could tell I knew a fair bit about them. I studied them for my last year of college. Super great, super important. Definitely recommend diving into some of those works. I didn't really speak too much about those works in specifics because I really want you guys to check it out and see how they relate to the nails that I created. But anyway, as always, music and all the other stuff is linked in the description below. I hope you can like and subscribe. Hope you can come around for the next video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Happy Black History Month. It's a leap year, so we're black for a few more days than usual. Goodbye.